So, of course, I had to follow Larry David with 9/11. Because the best thing that happened to me and could have happened to me on September 11th was not hearing from my dad. At the time, I was in Iowa City. I was a college student. My dad lived in Pittsburgh, and he's a safety engineer. His job is he goes to various chemical plants, goes through the list of protocols to make sure everyone at the plant is doing what they have to do to make sure the plant doesn't blow up. It's a good gig. So I wake up on September 11th, and at this point, the second plane's in. And it's awful and it's horrible. And I start thinking, wait, my dad travels a lot for his job. I better give him a call, just make sure he's okay. And I figure, like, oh, he's probably okay mathematically, all that, but just have to double check. So I call his work number. I get his answer machine. I'll be out of the office from September 11th through the 14th, which is less than comforting. But I leave the message, like, hey, Dad, you know, it's today, obviously. Could you give me a call back when you get the chance? And I go to class thinking nothing more of it. Class, obviously, isn't happening. We're just watching the news. And then word comes that a plane's gone down in Pittsburgh. And they said Pittsburgh because they didn't know how to describe that part of Pennsylvania otherwise. It's really the way the rest of the nation sees this state. There's Pittsburgh and then this suburb of New York, which is why the rest of the nation sucks. But I got a little more panic. And I was like, I need to get back home right now. I hop on the bus. I'm like, oh geez, what's going on? And there's this guy at the front of the bus that I know. This little guy. This little weaselly shit that lived on my dorm room floor. And he's talking to a girl. And he's saying to her, well, I always said that if the country ever needed me, I'd sign up and serve. And I'm thinking, man, if the country ever needs you, the biggest favor you can do is kill yourself. In fact, set yourself on fire so there's less to clean up. And I realized, oh my God, he's trying to get some end of the world sex. He's walking like a terror tale. He's after some apocapussy. Oh my God, you reasonable bastard! And this is what was happening to me all day long on September 11th. Where it was like the fear, the real fear from the real horror that was happening started to creep in. And I was in Iowa City. There should be a nice buffer zone from the horrible reality in New York. But the fear started to creep in. I started to buy in. And all of a sudden, boom! Bullshit would pull me back to reality. My roommates were insisting that Iowa City was the next logical target for a terrorist attack. And I said, no, it's not. No. When you think of America, what do you think of? New York? No. DC? No. LA? No, the heartland. And what do you think of when you think of the heartland? Kansas? No. Nebraska? No. Chicago? No. Iowa. And what do you think of when you think of Iowa? Des Moines! You're fucking with us, aren't you? God damn it, guys. I'm in Iowa City, and Iowa City's not on my radar. No one is trying to hit the cornfields. We're fine. Get over it. But this kept going on. And I did finally hear from my dad, and it reminded me that everything was normal. Everything was as awful as everything in New York was, that the real world was still okay. Because my dad called me 2 days later. He said he would have called earlier, but nothing was wrong. He would have called if something was wrong, and I said to my father, who would have called if something was wrong, my father, who does not have a cell phone, how would you have called if something was wrong on September 11th? Would you have reached out the window and been like, press 9? And it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I was like, yeah. He spent the day, he was actually at the chemical plant. He was doing an audit. And they were in the control room watching the news, and everyone was like, oh, and my dad was, so I see you have an HCl sweeper here, so what's your process for that? And everyone's like, well, what do you, there's like all this stuff, like, yes, but the plant's on, isn't it? The plant is running? Well, yeah. Well, we have to take care of this thing. This hasn't stopped. And this is horrible. There's a real fear out there. There's something really terrible going on. But we can't abandon our responsibilities for the sake of our fears. And that's what I needed to hear. That's what all my roommates, everyone I knew in Iowa City, was trying to convince me. That we needed to abandon our responsibilities, abandon even our critical thinking. And we have, for the past decade. We've really abandoned, that's been the excuse. It's like, oh, well, there was this fear, or we were afraid. No. The plant's still running. We've got work to do.